Welcome to another trigger point session. You need your spiky balls, you need your soft squishy big ball, and then your roller, or like we did before, 2 bath towels rolled up really tight to give them quite a high height. Find those, pop them to the side, and we're going to start lying down on our roller or our towel. So once you've laid down, you're just trying to let your body relax here. So rather than holding tension and pushing into your feet and trying to lift away from your towel or your roller, you're trying to imagine that you're melting and sinking down into it. You can always pop something else under your head, like a rolled up towel or something, if you feel that you need something under your head. And then all you need to do here is just breathe. Slowing your breath down. Scanning through your body, looking for any areas of tension, of tightness, and seeing if you can relax. And just find a little bit more softness there. So while we're here breathing on this roller, let's start to move our arms around a little bit. So when you're ready, let's float our arms up towards the sky. And then take them over your head towards the floor behind you, just as far as you feel that you can without shifting your rib cage. And then just float your arms all the way back down. Go with your breath. Inhale as you take the arms up and over. And then exhale in as you float the arms back down. Remember, you're in control, and if you feel super wobbly on your roller, you don't want to lift both arms off the floor, you can always just do one arm at a time so that you've got one arm down for a little bit of stability. As your hands pause wherever they are now, we're going to take it into scissor arms. So we're just going to have one arm going up as one arm stays down, and then we're going to switch. So the arms are moving at the same time. One arm up, one arm down. Again, just going at your own pace, don't rush. And as you're moving, just tuning into your body, noticing any sensations. You can make the movement as big or as small as you like. And then when you're ready, just floating those arms all the way back down to rest down onto the floor. Just pausing there. We're going to start to move our lower body now. We're going to just take it into a pelvic tilt here. So take a breath in, and as you exhale, tilting your pelvis towards you, trying to flatten out your back completely on your towel or your roller. Inhale as you find that neutral position again, maybe a tiny space under your back, and then exhale to flatten out again. And we're just going to move here with the flow of your breath. Getting a little bit of movement around your pelvis, releasing your low back. Just pausing here for a couple more. And then just come to rest, sorry. And then just come to rest and just hold here for a couple of breaths. When you're ready, we're going to ooze ourselves off our towel or our roller. So just gently roll yourself to one side and then roll your towel or your roller out of the way so that you can enjoy that melting of your spine down into the floor. You can keep your knees bent if you want to, or you can straighten those legs out long, whichever feels most delicious for you right now. And we're going to just stay here, integrating the sensation into your body, and also just because it feels so good, we just want to enjoy it. Okay, we're going to use our big squishy ball next, and we're going to pop it under our pelvis. So grab that, I'll just move my roller out of the way. And we're going to pop it under our hips, under our pelvis. So lift your bottom up and then pop it under. And again, we're just going to pause for a moment here, just to kind of let your body settle. Just to figure out what you're trying to do, what you're asking it to do. And then we're going to go back to that tilt again. So on an exhale, tilt your pelvis towards you. On an inhale, come back into a more neutral position. Again, let's just play with that little tilt here. So the ball is under your pelvis. Makes it easier to kind of tilt. Alright, and then coming to rest there. So we're kind of leveling out our pelvis a little bit here. And then from here, we're going to go into that single knee fold. So take a breath in, and as you exhale, just bring one leg up into that tabletop position. Inhale as you lower that leg back down, and exhale, bring the other one up this time. Inhale as you lower back down, and again, exhale, bring first leg up. So seeing here, if we can, still maintain that neutral pelvis, so it doesn't have to tip back as you lift your leg. And then as you bring your leg in this time, as you bring it into that kind of tabletop position, we're going to start to slightly straighten that leg out. It doesn't have to be fully straight, kind of have a little bend in the knee, but kind of straighten it out, pointing your toes up towards the sky so that you can see your foot above your knee. And then keeping that length through your leg, let's start to gently lower that leg down towards the floor. Go really nice and slow. Once that leg's down towards the floor, let the foot come all the way to the floor, and then just slide that foot along the floor to bring yourself back into that start position, so you've got your foot flat, knee bent. Go do the same on the other side. So when you're ready, bringing that leg into a tabletop position first, and then start to straighten that leg out a little bit, just so that you can see your toes above your knee. And then again, we're going to slowly lower that leg down towards the floor. Just go nice and slow. Once that leg is all the way down to the floor and your foot's down on the floor, we're just going to slide that foot back in and back into your start position. Go to your first side again when you're ready. Nice and soft. And then let's see if we can just let this movement flow a little bit. So don't overthink it, just bring the leg in, straighten it a little bit and lower it down. Looking for nice, soft, gentle movement. Let's do one more of these on each side. And when you finish those, we're going to keep our hands down on the floor for a moment, and we're going to bring our knees in towards our chest. So bring one knee, then the other knee in. And then if you feel nice and stable, that you're not going to fall, you can hold onto your knees, letting your pelvis tilt, letting your back round, and then just hold here. So having us in this position, it's allowing our back to round, and the idea is that it releases tension around your upper back. We call this one a thoracic release, so around your upper back. Let's take some deep breaths. So the next few exercises that we're going to do, they are designed to help with breathing, to help us breathe more easily. And we've started with this thoracic release, getting some release along our upper back. So we're going to stay with the big ball, but we're going to release our feet back down to the floor, lifting your hips away from the ball. Let's just lower our hips back down to the floor for a moment there and just integrate that sensation, kind of have a feel how that feels. Maybe again try straightening your legs out. And just enjoy a couple of breaths there. So just notice your breathing here. As you're taking those deep breaths, can you feel that movement, that expansion of your rib cage side to side and front to back? Just notice how it feels, how easy it is, if there's any resistance, any tightness there. And we're going to do some release all around the rib cage to try and really help with our breathing. So we're going to pop the ball behind our shoulders now. So kind of come on up. Where your shoulder blades are, ish. And then pop your head into your hands. And then let your head rest heavy in your hands so that there's no tension through your neck at all. Your head is fully supported. And we're going to just gently kind of slide side to side. So it's almost like a little side bend as you're just sliding your shoulders kind of across your ball. And it doesn't have to be a precise movement here. We're just using pressure from the ball, from our weight pressing on it, to kind of just release the shoulders. Any tension around those shoulder blades and your back. So I say it doesn't have to be a quarter of an inch above this or that or whatever. Anywhere is good here as you just gently go from side to side. You can go again as quickly or as slowly as you like. Slow is always better. Giving your body time to just kind of acknowledge what you're asking it to do, to realise that it's not under any threat, you're not going to do anything to hurt it, so that it can relax and just let go. Okay. And then as you come back in through centre this time, let's just hold here. Taking some deep breaths. And then we're going to stay with using the ball around our rib cage, but we're going to kind of come onto our side now. So just come onto your side and have your elbow down on the floor so you can prop your head in your hand. And then move your ball down. So let's kind of we're coming to around the bottom of our rib cage here. Now because this ball is really soft, we're not going to be doing any damage by being on those low ribs. You wouldn't want to do this with a really hard ball, but this little soft squishy ball is fine. So we're kind of say towards the bottom of your rib cage. The ball is so big it kind of covers a big area, but just know that we're kind of heading to the bottom of the rib cage. And then all we're going to do here is just gently rock forwards and backwards a little bit. Really small movement. Still taking those deep breaths. I like to try and expand my rib cage to push into the ball. We're just kind of rolling the side of our rib cage here. And let's kind of roll a little bit forward, so we're kind of looking down towards the floor, so that ball's kind of coming around the side of the rib cage, coming towards the front, and then rolling away. So we're kind of rolling more to the front and the side. We're kind of just going around that little corner there. And then let's kind of take it a little bit further back. So kind of scooch your ball just a little bit back. So we're still doing the side of the rib cage, but kind of twisting to get just kind of around that back edge as well. It's one of those you just kind of need to move your body around until you find where is quite comfortable. So again, you can have your head in your hand. I'm happy with my head up as I just try and twist to get that ball coming around the back just a little bit. Again, taking those deep breaths. Alright, and we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So just kicking the ball to the other side. So again, we're going to go right at the side first, low ribs, head in hand. And again, just gently rocking, just moving here. And as always, if it doesn't feel right for you, if on one side it's painful, it's really uncomfortable, you don't have to do any of these movements. It's just there to kind of show you patterns of tension in your body to try and release tension and tightness, but not everything will feel good. You already know that. Not everything might be right for you right now. So if anything's just your body saying no, then just respect that and just have a moment and just breathe. Sometimes it will just feel unpleasant but bearable. If it's unpleasant but bearable, do it. Your body probably needs it. Let's again kind of roll a little bit more forwards, coming around that front corner. I'm not sure that we have corners of the rib cage. That's not a very correct anatomical term, but you know what I mean. Just coming around the front a little bit. Does it feel the same on both sides? I feel a little bit bruised on this side as I kind of come around to that front corner. Shall we try going back? So bringing that ball a little bit more to your side and kind of around that back. Well, the back's better. It was the front bit I didn't like. Back bit feels okay. Again, just rolling, breathing, taking those deep breaths. Good. Okay. We're going to use the ball now around the front and around our belly. So, you might have done this with me before. I'll set you up with it on your belly, and if you really don't like the pressure on your belly line on your front, you can flip over onto your back. So I'll show you it first so that you can try it. So we want to have the ball now on the front, so it's going to go right at the bottom of your rib cage, and it's going to cover most of your belly, to be fair, isn't it, because of the size of the ball. So come on down onto your front and kind of placing that ball around your belly. And then it's just about finding a position that feels okay for you. You can have your hands down, resting your head on your hands. You can be on your elbows so that you can lift a little bit of your weight off the ball if you want to. And then we're just going to stay here and we're going to breathe and we're going to relax. So if already you're like, I really don't like that, what you can do is roll over onto your back and have the ball on your belly here and use your hands to press as you breathe. So that's another option if it's too much pressure on your front. We're still taking those deep breaths. Breathing into that ball. Again, we're using the weight of our body and gravity to give us that pressure, to give us that release. And then maybe it feels okay to kind of just slide your body or roll your body just kind of side to side here. If the movement is like, no, and you want to just keep still, absolutely you can do that. And kind of roll in that ball side to side across your belly. My mat sounds like a creaky old ship. I don't know if you can hear that. It's kind of like a little pirate ship creaking. And then just come to rest there for a moment. And we're going to move the ball down a little bit. So again, try it, see how it feels for you. So you're kind of rolling it down to your low belly, pubic bone area, belly button's going to be covered, pubic bone's going to be covered, and see how it feels there. And again, if it's not right for you, flip over onto your back. If you're on your back, have that ball again lower, kind of belly button, pubic bone, and hold there. Can you breathe into the ball? And if, like me, you've got lots of scar tissue around your belly, I've had a couple of cesareans, I've had a number of laparoscopies and things, so if you've got scar tissue, sometimes it can feel a little bit unpleasant, but actually it's really good to get some movement around that scar tissue. Again, if you want to kind of just rock gently side to side, hope that you don't need the loo. If you want to rock side to side here, see how that feels, that can be good. I went and had, it was quite a while ago now, last year sometime I went and had a main abdominal massage, again just because of the scar tissue and stuff, and I was just interested in it, and the lady there, when she was massaging my belly and particularly my cesarean scar, she could feel scar tissue tracking from one end of my scar all the way up to my hip bone, which was really interesting, and I could feel, as she was massaging in that area, I could feel the restriction and the tightness. It was really interesting. I didn't like the thought of somebody massaging my belly at the time, but it was really good. Okay, we're going to come off this ball now, so just gently come on off, and then just roll over onto your back, and just lie there with your legs out long. And let's just take some deep breaths. Really trying again to find that expansion of your ribcage, front to back, side to side. Notice whether you're able to breathe more freely. Do you feel like there's more movement available now? Just a couple more breaths there, just again enjoying that sensation. Good. Okay, we're going to use our prickle balls now. So come on up and grab yourself a prickle ball. And we're going to come back up to our armpit. So we're going to come back onto our side again. And the ball is going to go like right in your armpit, yeah? And that bottom arm's going to be out long, palm face up. And then have your knees bent. You can rest your head on your arm, or you can grab a towel or something for your head if you want to. Again, it might feel quite a lot of pressure, it might feel quite tender. You can use this other arm to kind of lift you away from it a little bit until you're able to relax fully down onto the ball. This is a very strange sensation, I know that. And we're going to just gently, again, like we did before, rock forwards, then backwards. Make it small. You're in control of how much pressure you're allowing. And then we're going to just find somewhere that we can just stay. So you might choose to be really quite far forward, so there's a lot of pressure. You might roll back a bit so there's less pressure. Just find a place that feels okay for you. And then we're going to keep the bottom leg bent, but we're going to straighten the top leg out and tap your toes down on the floor. Get those toes all the way down. And we're going to lift that top leg. So we're going to lift the leg, doesn't have to go too high. And then we're going to lower the leg and again let the toes come all the way down onto the floor. Lift the leg and all the way down. Can you kind of feel that pull as that toe comes all the way down to the floor? Lift and all the way down. Touch the floor. Let's do 2 more. And then as you bring that leg down this time, keeping the toes down on the floor, we're going to take this free arm this time and we're going to take it up. We're going to take it overhead and then back up to the ceiling. Just kind of let it go where it wants to go. I kind of like a little bit of a rolled out position, but just let your arm just go where it wants to go. And we're going overhead to the ceiling. As you take that arm overhead, we're going to hold it there this time. You feel that length all the way down that top side of your body as you reach from your fingertips all the way down to your toe, finding that length and that lift. And then we're just going to release, bending the knee back in, bringing that arm back in. I'm going to move the ball down a little bit now. So it's going to kind of stay, I've got prickle marks on the way on. It's going to stay under your arm, but it's going to just come a little bit lower down. So it's kind of on your side of your rib cage now, where your bra strap would be or where your heart rate monitor would be. And then I'm going to have my elbow down this time, my head propped in my hand. Find the position that works for you. Knees bent again. I'm just going to hold here because it is a little bit more pressure. Again, you can use this arm, you can use this elbow to kind of lift you off the ball a little bit if it's too much pressure, until you feel that you can kind of just sink down into it. Taking some deep breaths again. We're going to kind of work our way down one side of the body before we do the other side. It's a bit of a strange place, this one. And it's usually quite different one side to the other, so we're going to notice when we do get to the other side. Okay, we're going to move the ball down now, so we've kind of finished with the shoulder. We're going to come down to our hip. So again, it's a squishy ball, you can't do any damage to it. Get it right on your hip, so kind of find right where your thigh bone kind of goes into that hip socket, so you can be right in there. Don't be afraid to get that ball right in there. But similarly, if it doesn't feel good to move it forwards, back, up, down, just play around with it. So we're on our hip, we're on our elbow, other hand can come down, and again you can kind of lift yourself away from the ball a little bit to begin with until you feel that you can drop all the way down. So grab that ball at that hip, hold here. That's an interesting sensation sometimes. That can be like, ooh, quite intense, maybe. It is for me today on this side. So we're just trying to be as relaxed as possible. We are trying to surrender a weight of our body down. We are trying to let that ball kind of penetrate deeper to those deeper tissues. The more relaxed you can be, the deeper that release is going to be. And if it feels okay, we can add our clam movement here as well. So we're going to keep the feet together, but we're going to open out that top knee and then close it down. Same as always, we want to keep the pelvis still, so we're not opening out the knee so much that the whole pelvis is pointing up to the sky. And if it's too much to add the clam movement, just stay still. One more here. And then just pause. Okay, for extra torture, if you can grab your other ball, we're going to have 2 balls. So we're going to have one at the hip and then one just above your knee. I'm going to have to come off to get my other ball. Okay, so one at your hip and then one above your knee. So it's not on your knee, it's just above. One at the hip one at the knee. If it's too much, the one just above your knee, then take it away. Don't have to do that one. It's just another layer of torture for you. And again, you could stay here or you could do your climb again if you wanted to. Sometimes it's kind of nice to move your body because then it forgets what you're doing torture-wise with it. Again, there's no rule. It doesn't have to be like, 3/4 of an inch above your knee. Just anywhere in that general area. Can't be in the wrong place. You just don't want it right on your knee. Okay, one more. And then just hold it down here. Couple of breaths. Good. We're going to do the other side. So rolling off those balls. Okay, so we're going to go back to the armpit on this side. Right in your armpit. Arm out long, palm faces up. You can rest your head down, your knees bent. Your hand can come down again to control how much pressure you're having from the ball. And again, let's just roll forwards and back. It's right in your armpit. Really helping to move that lymphatic fluid around, really helping to get your body to drain all of those nasty toxins and cellular waste that your body doesn't need, that just kind of hang around in those lymphatic tissues in that until you move. You need to move your body to kind of get those moving. Okay, so again, we're going to stay here. You can roll a little bit further forwards if you want to. And we're going to keep that bottom leg bent, top leg straight, and get your toes down on the floor. Let's lift and lower again that top leg. You're in control, make it as big or as small as you want, but get the toes all the way down. You can probably already feel again that stretch as the toes come all the way down. You're feeling that stretch, that lengthening. As your toes come down this time, keep the toes down. Let's float the arm up. And then again, we're going to take that arm overhead and then back up to the sky. Let's do that a few times, overhead and back up. Let's do one more time. All the way down. Just bending the knee in, bending the arm back in. Let's move the ball down so it's going again to kind of the side of your rib cage. Bra strap, heart rate monitor area there. You can stay with your head all the way down if you want to. I kind of like to come up onto an elbow here. And if those are fine. And we're just going to stay here. We're just going to take some deep breaths. This does tend to be quite a tender spot because these tissues don't get moved quite so much. Especially if you do wear like sports bras a lot, or just those bras that have got the wires in them. Sometimes they have, don't they, like a bone, we call it a bone, don't they, down the sides as well, so really holding this area rigid. And obviously they're always quite tight and fitted, which kind of just prevents that movement here. So this is a really nice way to just release that area. Should we take it down to our hip? No. Let's move it down. So again, anywhere in that general area is fine. Have you pull me back, because we're going to do the second one again soon, aren't we? So kind of just finding where it feels okay for you. Up on your elbow, knees bent. Hold there. Does it feel different on this side? It actually feels super sharp on this side for me today. That prickly ball feels like it's got pins in it today. So just again, you're in control. You can lift your body off a little bit if you need a little bit of help, or you can allow your body to relax down. Taking some deep breaths, enjoying yourself here, maybe. Shall we add that clown? So feet stay together, opening out that top knee, and remember, both your hip bones are pointing forwards, they're not pointing up towards the sky. Good. And then again, just hold in there. So if one ball there is enough, then stay with one. If you are a glutton for punishment, add that second ball again, just kind of above your knee. One hip, one knee. And then hold there. And again, you can choose to stay still, or you could do that plan again if you want to here. If you feel very unstable and very wibbly wobbly, you might just want to stay still, that's fine. Two more if you're doing your climb, otherwise just pause in there, 2 more breaths. Okay, and then when you're ready, we're going to come off. Come on off those balls. Keep hold of them, let's go over onto our back. Just pausing for a moment there, letting your body settle into the floor. And we're going to pop the spiky balls under our bottom now, one on each side. And then we're going to swing our hips side to side. And remember, you can kind of move the balls around. You might want to take them higher, lower, wider, narrower, whatever, wherever feels right to you. As we gently rock side to side here. And then just pausing in the centre there. And we're going to bring one leg in towards us and we're going to hold behind that knee. And then we're going to straighten that leg. It doesn't have to be fully straight, you can have a little soft bend in it, but we're going to have a flat foot. So flat foot here. And then we're going to bend the knee and then straighten-ish. Doesn't have to go fully straight to begin with, but it probably will start to straighten out as we carry on with this. So we're bending and straightening that leg that we've got hold of. And we're keeping the foot flat. Now if you feel that you can bend and straighten it without holding onto it, you can bring your hands down and just bend and straighten that leg without holding it, that's fine. Whatever feels good to you. Alright, and as you straighten that leg this time, let's point the toe. So we've got a really long pointy toe. Same thing, we're going to bend and straighten with that pointed toe. Good. And then super slow, as you straighten that leg out this time, we're going to flex it again, so flat foot again, and we're going to slowly lower the leg down towards the floor. Once it's down, as far as it feels good to you, it might get all the way down to the floor, we're going to point the toe, and we're going to softly, gently sweep the leg back up towards the sky. So we're going to have a flat foot as we lower the leg down. And then once you're down as far as you're going, maybe you're to the floor, point the toe and sweep it back up soft. Gentle, relaxed, think floaty leg. Point to lift. And then as you bring that leg back up towards the sky this time, we're just going to bend that knee back in and lower that foot down onto the floor. Nice. Do a little swing side to side again, just wake up those glutes, make sure they've not gone to sleep. Give them a wriggle. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So when you're ready, bring that other leg in, take hold of it. And again, we're going to start to straighten it out a little bit. Doesn't need to go fully straight to begin with, and then flex, flatten that foot. And then we're going to straighten that leg out a little bit and then bend it in. So bend and straighten. Again, you can hold the leg as you bend and straighten if you want to, or you can just bring your hands down to the floor and just bend and straighten that leg. Again, you could always do this with a strap if you felt that you needed a little bit more help. You could always use a strap. And then as you straighten that leg out this time, point your toes, and let's do that bend and straighten with a pointed toe. Does it feel the same on both sides? Good. And then as you straighten that leg out this time, hold it there. Let's go back to that flexed foot, flat foot, and we're going to lower that leg down towards the floor. Once it's down as far as it's going, you're going to point your toes and softly sweep the leg back up to the sky. Again, you can keep that little bend in that knee. It doesn't have to be totally straight leg. Just do whatever feels right for your body. We're looking for softness. As you bring that leg back up towards the sky this time, we're just going to bend that knee back in, and again place your foot back down on the floor. Let's do a little swing of the hips side to side. Can you grab your big squishy ball from where you are? Grab your big squishy ball, and then keeping the prickly balls under your bottom, we're going to bring that leg into tabletop again, and we're going to put the squishy ball behind our knee. So you're going to have to just bend your leg enough so that you can hold that ball there. Okay, it's like juggling, isn't it? Balls everywhere. Okay, so we're going to keep hold of this squishy ball, and we're going to do circles. So imagine you've got a pencil on your knee and you're going to draw a circle on the ceiling. And we're going to do 5 circles. When you've done your 5, you're going to just reverse and circle the other way. And you can make this movement as big or as small as you like. Good. When you've done your 5 in each direction, we're just going to take that ball out and do the same on the other side. So just in your own time when you're ready, and doing your little circles. And when you've done your 5 one way, remember to reverse and go the other way. Good. Alright, and then when you've done all of your circles, you're just going to take that ball out, and one last time, swing those hips side to side. And then we're going to take the prickle balls away. And again, you might choose to lengthen those legs out long. And just see how your bottom feels now. Like it's missing. Let's just hold here for a few breaths. Just scanning through your body, noticing how it feels. If you can feel any tension, any tightness, any resistance anywhere. If you can feel anywhere, is it? Just notice. Okay, and then we're going to again keep our prickle balls with us, and we're going to roll over onto our front. We're going to put them under the front of our thigh now. So let's kind of go mid-thigh. You're going to have one on each side. Sometimes getting yourself in these positions is the hardest. thing, isn't it? So one on each side. And then legs out long. And you're up on your elbows. But you can absolutely come down onto your hands if you want to, whichever feels better for you. It's more relaxing to be down with your head rested down on your hands. I'm going to stay up just so that you can hear me. You find the position that feels most comfortable for you. If you are up on your elbows like me though, just make sure that you're not letting your rib cage just sag. You see how my lower back just drops down? That's not going to be a happy place for your lower back, so you need to keep those ribs lifted. So we're just breathing. Here we're trying to allow our body to sink down onto the prickle balls here, trying to release tension through the fronts of your thighs, giving those quad muscles a little poke, trying to get them to relax. How about, can you gently rock side to side here so that ball's kind of going across your thigh. Probably feels truly awful. Alright, and then pausing again in the centre there. Can you bend one leg? So you're just going to bend one knee, bringing that heel towards your bottom, and then lengthen and reach that leg away. Same leg, stay on that same side. You're just going to bend the leg in, and then lengthen and reach it away. Bend the leg in, reach it away. You do two more. One more time. Oh, let's do the other side. When you're ready, bend the other leg, and then lengthen, straighten that leg out, bend. You do two more. Last one. Oh. Alright, we're going to move the balls down, so we're going to go just above your knee. It's kind of easier if you commando crawl forwards to roll the ball down your leg, but whatever you need to do to kind of get it so it's above your knee, it's not directly on your knee, because that would probably feel awful and be a little bit too much pressure, so it's above your knees now, hold in there. And again, you can be down on your hands or on your elbows, or I can come all the way down onto my hands here. And let's again roll gently side to side so that ball is rolling from one side of your leg to the other, rolling across. And then pausing in the centre there. Again, just making sure that ball hasn't gone directly onto your knee, because we're going to bend and straighten our leg again like we did before. So when you're ready, just bending one leg and then straightening it out. Let's go again, nice and slow, nice and controlled, bending and straightening. Two more. Last one. And then other side, when you're ready, bend and straighten that leg. And then when you're ready, just lengthening both legs out long, just pause in there again, just for a couple of breaths. Good. Alright, and then we're going to come on off those balls. Oh, okay. So, they might feel like someone's kicked you in the shins, kicked you in the thigh. It kind of feels a little bit, yeah, quads are hard to do. We're going to have a relax now. We're going to do our cranial release. We're going to release all the way down from the top of our head right down to our tailbone with the two balls. So coming onto your back again, and we're going to pop the balls behind our head, both together. And as always, if they're a bit slippy, sometimes it helps to kind of get them under your hair, or to maybe pop a towel over them if you need to, just to try and keep them still, because they do tend to want to go wandering. Here. Once you've kind of got them in a position where they're going to stay for a moment, just let your body relax. So we're going to keep our knees bent and our feet flat. That keeps our spine in a really nice position here. These balls do not want to stay today. And all you're doing again is taking some deep breaths and trying to be as relaxed as possible. Again, letting your head be heavy, surrendering the weight of your head down so that the balls can release any tension. Close your eyes if that feels good to you. Just taking those deep breaths. So this little cranial release sequence that we're doing now is really good for tension, headaches, migraines, stress, relaxation in general, but if you do suffer with tension, headaches, it's really, really good. We're going to move the balls down, so we're going to bring them down to your neck now. So again, 2 balls together on your neck. Depending on how long your neck is, your head might be able to come all the way back down to the floor or not. If your head's coming back to the floor, let your chin lift. So letting your head kind of roll back. And as always, if any of these positions don't feel right to you, go back to the one before and hang out there until we move on. If you ever get that electric shock type pain, just come off the balls and just rest. Electric shock type pain is usually a nerve thing, so we don't want to be irritating any nerves. If we've got any trapped nerves or anything, we certainly don't want to be aggravating that. But it is quite normal to get that kind of nauseous feeling sometimes, that like you're pressing on a bruise feeling, and that's just your body's way of kind of showing you that that's where those little trigger points are, that's where tension is. So if you can just breathe and just let it go and do. We're going to move the balls down again. So we're going to come just to where our neck and our shoulders join. So the balls are going to come slightly apart now as they're kind of on each side of where the neck and the shoulder meet. You can just kind of see it's just tucked under there. And then I like to have my arms out to my sides, a little bit wider so they're not right against, and palms facing up. Again, encouraging that open chest shoulder position. Notice how it feels here. And does it feel the same on both sides? You can always pop something under your head as we move down the spine if it feels like it's not comfortable for your head. You could use your big squishy ball, you could just grab a folded towel. I want you to be as comfortable as possible here so that you can fully release and relax. Keep taking those deep breaths. Notice if your body's wanting to grip and hold anyway. Sometimes as we find a little area of tension, your body will grip. So if you notice that, just be pleased with yourself that you've acknowledged and you've noticed it first, and then see if you can soften and let it go. We're going to move those balls again. So this time they're going to go right behind your shoulder. So where your arm and your shoulder meet, but just inside a little bit. So you don't want to have it on your arm, it's just to the inside. Yeah? So that again you can bring your arms down to the floor. Kind of pinning the ball with your shoulders. And again, it doesn't have to be a precise location anywhere in that area is fine. So we're going to move those balls down. We're going to move them just under your shoulder blades now. So bringing them back in closer together and just under your shoulder blades. Remember again, if you need to put something under your head, you can. Again, if this doesn't feel like a good position for you, you can move them higher, you can move them a little bit lower, move them closer. Just find somewhere that it feels like that's where you want to be right now. Let's move them down again. So this time we're going to go into the soft tissue between your bottom of your ribcage and your pelvis, either side of your spine. This again can be quite a funny area. People often don't like this area. So if it doesn't feel right for you, again, don't feel that you have to be here. You can kind of go back a step. Because it's kind of around our kidney area, you wouldn't want to do this if you had like a urinary infection and anything like that. It might just be too irritating and just too painful. Similarly, if you've had a heavy night and you've got a bit of a hangover, you might not want to be putting pressure there. But if it feels okay, we're going to stay here. We're just going to move them down slightly again. So this time they're going to come just onto your pelvis. So you know right at the bottom of your spine where you have those two little dimples right at the top of your bottom. Find that area there. So it's just on your pelvis, kind of just on the brim. Often again, this is an area that will feel like it's really quite bruised. Do your scan again, just checking through your body, just catching yourself if you're starting to clench your teeth, with your shoulders are trying to sneak up around your ears. Just kind of scan through again, check, soften. And then we're going to move the ball down. We're just going to have one ball this time. It's going to be right in the centre. Take one away. Right in the centre. So moving it down. And we're aiming to get to our sacrum. So kind of that triangular flat bit of bone at the back of your pelvis there. It doesn't have to be really precise, but just kind of have it in the centre. And then just hold in there. This is our last position here. Okay, when you're ready, press into your feet to lift your hips so that you can take that ball away. And then just lower your hips back down, lower, lengthen your legs out long. Let's just have a moment here. Again, just allowing your body to integrate all of that sensation that we've just kind of travelled all the way down the length of the spine, releasing, relaxing. Notice how your body feels on the floor now, whether your spine is fully flat on the floor. Maybe you've lost that little arch under your back for the moment because your body's so relaxed. Taking some deep breaths. So that is you all done with this session. Now you might want to stay here for a little bit longer and close your eyes and have a little nap, and that's that's perfectly fine if you want to do that. I'm going to make my way up to seated. But when you do come up to seated, just take a moment to let your body just kind of, we've been down there for quite a long time, just to kind of reorientate itself. And when you do come up, maybe just roll your shoulders, just turn your head around, just making sure that you are nice and relaxed, nice and loose, and awake to face the rest of your day.